Hey everyone, it's Sarah Lewis with Mixed Fitness, and I am excited to be bringing my top takeaways from the conference that I attended last weekend to you today. And this conference is a conference that I go to every year. It's in Alexandria, Virginia, and we have to, as personal trainers, we have to keep up our continuing education every year. So I get continuing education credits for going to this conference, and there's a bunch of sessions for all kinds of trainers, no matter what you're interested in, and I'm going to share my top takeaways from this year. But before I do that, there's two quick announcements I want to make. One, if you're local to me and you are a mom, I'm doing a sweaty brunch on April 28th. It's at 8 Chains North Winery. So there's going to be a workout, a 30-minute workout, followed by brunch. It's a little bit of a networking event with a twist, so networking reimagined. So a quick workout and then brunch with a little flight of wine, so it'll be super fun. And you can find the event here on my Mixed Fitness page, and you can register for it just through Facebook. It's through Eventbrite, but you can do it through Facebook as well. So again, that's if you're local to me, Sunday, April 28th in the morning at 8 Chains North Winery. I would love to see you there. The second announcement is that my Uncool fitness training program is going to be starting up on April 29th. That's a Monday. So in a couple weeks, that's my 6-week virtual program. So no matter where you are in the world, you can do this program online. It's designed to help you lose fat and change your habits. So we work on changing habits, but we do exercise and nutrition, group coaching calls, all of that. So I'll be posting more information about that. But those were just my two quick announcements I wanted to make before we get going here. All right, so the first topic I'm going to tackle is foam rolling on a bony structure. So when I learned how to do foam rolling, it was always that you need to do it on a muscle itself. Like we always kind of skipped over the joints and just stayed right on muscle to do your foam rolling, whether it be with a foam roller or a tennis ball or what. But I went to a session that talked about rolling actually over your joints. So like in the hip, right on the knee, over the ankle, and a little bit like on the tailbone. And we actually rolled right here, like on kind of on the top of your ribs as well. So that was really interesting because there is connective tissue that runs over your joints, obviously. It's there, but I've never been taught how to quite tackle that. So I'm going to show you how to roll the knee joint just because it's easiest in this situation, in a live situation, to show you how to roll the knee. But if you want to try this on your own, the best way to see if it's really going to work for you is if you do a squat, like do like 3 to 5 squats and just see how your knees feel when you squat. Like don't change anything, but just gauge how your knees feel when you do 3 to 5 squats. Then you're going to do the quick foam rolling, which literally takes like 15 seconds on your knee. Then you give yourself about 10 seconds to like kind of let the tissues rehydrate. There's fascia there, there's ligaments, of course, that cross the knee, as well as any joint, tendons. So you're going to let all that kind of rehydrate, taking a few deep breaths, and then check your squat again and see if your knees feel any different, like you have more range of motion, less pain. If your knees just feel better in general, then you know that this might be a good rolling technique for you. So I'm gonna step back here, and I'll have to talk loud because my microphone is out of date and I can't plug it into my phone, but I'll be kind of yelling at you from the back of the room here. So I'm gonna grab my foam roller, and actually if you have one, you're welcome to do this with me. All right, so I just have this 6-inch foam roller, and you're gonna put it right here on the knee. So it's literally like my kneecap is here, and you put it right directly in line with your kneecap horizontally, and we're going to be rolling it very small up and down like that, but against the wall. Okay, so I have it in position, and I'm just kind of pushing my leg gently into the wall so that it gets a little bit of a compressive force there, that the foam roller is actually going to go into the tissues a little bit and do its work. So it's going to be hard to see from this far away, but I'm just lifting and lowering my heel 4 times. And that's to roll just that very small area of the joint. And then I'm going to shift my knee backwards and forwards like this. So it's very small and I'm probably too far away for you to see that, but we just shift 4 times and that's it. So I would check both knees. So I would say do that, then you're gonna rest 10 seconds, test your squat again, see how it feels on that knee. Then you can go back and do the other knee. Again, 4 rolls up and down, 4 shifts sideways, rest 10 seconds, take a couple deep breaths, let that tissue rehydrate, because what happens when you foam roll is that tissue gets compressed. So it needs to just kind of come back to like its resting state after foam rolling. Breathing and circulation will bring it back to that resting state, but then check your squat after that. All right, now if you guys have questions as we go along, I'm gonna try and follow, so feel free to leave a comment and I'll address your questions as we go here. Okay, so that's how you roll your knee joints when you are foam rolling. Okay, so next up we're going to be talking about a neural reset for the lower back. I attended a session on lower back stability and how we can address that, because your lower back should be a stable joint. I'm just a little warm here. It should be a stable joint, not a mobile joint. So we don't want there to be a lot of movement in the lower back, but we tend to stay in like a anterior pelvic tilt. If you've been following me for a long time, you've heard me, I've blogged about anterior pelvic tilt a lot, but basically it just means when your pelvis is tilted forward like that. Now I'm exaggerating, but that's an anterior pelvic tilt. So we live, a lot of us, it's super common to be in that like lower back extended position. So I went to a session that talked about getting the brain to get you out of that position, because that's a habitual posture. So we need to get the brain involved. It's of course remembering and compensating and doing all those things for your posture. So the way you do a neural reset for your lower back is to use a TRX. So I have one hanging behind me. It's this contraption here. It's hooked up to a pull-up bar, but you can, if you want to get one, I have a lot of clients who buy them for their houses, and also because I'm in my house, I also use a door anchor, so it's really cool that you can still use the TRX even if you don't have a high anchor point. You just buy the door anchor, put it behind a door, and it works the same. It's a great tool. All right, so let me show you this neural reset. So we're just gonna grab the handles and sink into a very deep squat all the way down, okay? So we're all the way down here. Now my butt is off the ground, like I can swing it around, but feet stay flat on the floor. So make sure your feet stay flat, okay? And you're just letting yourself hang here. And if you're worried about this range of motion for your knees, don't be, because hanging on to the TRX allows you to get into this deep range of motion with support. So that's one of the great things I love about the TRX, is that it can assist people with squats who may have knee issues. Okay, so you're just hanging out here, and you're just going to relax and take a 20-second breath, or breathe for 20 seconds. You're going to go in through your nose and out through your mouth. All right, I'm not going to do that here for you, but a 20-second breathing in that position, because what that does is it gets you out of this extended position and it makes you go into a more neutral position like that. All right, so it tells the brain, okay, I need to get out of that position and into a more neutral position. So that's the neural reset part. Again, just hanging out, 20 seconds, inhale through the nose, long exhales through the mouth. The breathing is also a huge part of this. So you would want to follow that by doing like a dead bug, because once you've released that musculature back there, you want to activate your core, so that it turns on and knows how to stabilize, because it could be turned off when you're in that big extended position. When you're here, your core doesn't do a whole lot because it's stretched. So once you've gotten your body to go here, then we need to do a dead bug to turn your core back on. Okay, so that's your neural reset for your lower back. It can help your posture and it can help your stability. All right. That was 2 out of 5 that I'm doing. Okay, so number 3 is how many times you should breathe a minute. I went to an entire session that was just focused on breathing, although it was a key point that was brought in through many sessions over the weekend, but this one in particular was just about breathing. So what I'd like you to do when you are watching this on replay is just set a timer. You can use a timer on your phone for 1 minute and see how many breaths you take in 1 minute. Like, I don't want you to change how you're breathing or, speed it up or slow it down or change it or blah, blah, blah. I just want you to sit and breathe for 1 minute and see how many breaths it takes you to do that. All right, so apparently the average for the normal person is around 17 breaths per minute. So I did this during the workshop and I think I was around 15 or so, but average is 17 breaths per minute. And what that means is that your nervous system, like your fight or flight response, is kind of keyed up a little bit. Like, the faster you breathe, the more your fight or flight system is like, we gotta fight. So fast breathing and breathing through your mouth is stimulating to your nervous system. So like on that neural reset we just did, that's why the inhale should be through your nose, right? Because we're trying to calm that nervous system down. So, and when you're stressed, like, that's why taking a deep breath is a good part of like natural stress relief, because it's trying to calm the nervous system down. So again, set a timer for 1 minute, see how many breaths you take in that 1 minute. Then focus the next time you do it. So you just want to get what your average is, but the next time you do it, you want to see if you can slow your breathing down. The goal should really be around like 12 breaths per minute. And the way that you slow it down is through breathing. So you're inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth, and trying to fill up your rib cage here so that you're not just belly breathing, but you're trying to do like a 360 breath all the way around, that you can feel some expansion in your ribs back here, not just here. All right. So inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth, and then see how much slower your breathing gets. And mine dropped to about like 11, I think. When I focused on my breathing, I dropped down to 11 breaths per minute. So it was just kind of a cool little trick. We also did a 90-second run test, which was crazy because we like ran in place fast for 90 seconds, and then the instructor told us to hold our breath and see how long we could hold our breath after 90 seconds of running in place, like high knees up. Like, this wasn't just like an easy march, but like heart rates were up, breathing rates were up, and I think I lasted about 5 seconds holding my breath. And then the instructor says, okay, so the goal is to get to 30 seconds, that you have like a really high heart rate and you're able to hold your breath for 30 seconds without breathing. So that is for sure a challenge. So we did that like kind of early on in the workshop, and then after we worked on these breathing strategies and such, he had us do it again, which was super fun, right? Work really hard and then don't breathe. Like, it sounds crazy, and it is. But so we did so we did the 90-second run again, and then again it was all about like during the 90 seconds working on your breathing, that you were trying to inhale through your nose as much as you could, trying to keep the nervous system calm, not letting your nervous system take over, and just kind of letting the heart do its job. And so after all that practiced breathing and long exhales, throughout the 90 seconds, I think I dropped my breath. I was able to hold my breath for about, I got up to about 15 seconds. I think that's what it was. But some people lasted the 30 seconds or even a little bit longer. So it can be done. It's crazy. But again, this is something you have to train. So if you go out for runs, like if you're training for something and you're new at running, focus on your breathing and it will help you. All right. It helps calm the nervous system, and it's a training tool that you don't often think of helping you get better at running or cardio in general, but definitely can be applied with good results. All right, now the next thing I wanted to talk about was research proving that short workouts are effective. I've been doing like roughly 30 to 40 minute workouts for over 2 years now. A few years ago, I just decided like I don't need to go out for an hour or even 45 minutes to get a good workout in. I just go intense for a short amount of time and get it done, and then I'm done. Like I don't worry that I didn't spend an hour working out. So I was so excited that I went to a presentation that talked all about research, which sounds horrible that you have to listen to research, but actually this guy that was the instructor, his name is Len Kravitz. He's out of the University of New Mexico. He's been presenting at these fitness conferences for years, and he's actually quite entertaining, and he makes the research really understandable. So he talked about all kinds of different research, but I just wanted to read this one study to you proving that short workouts are effective. So this study was done in 2017. So in research terms, that's like pretty recent to be from 2017. So this was circuit resistance training. It was a study using circuit resistance training, and there were 6 to 12 exercises per session, and 20 to 40 seconds of work with a short rest period. So like when I do circuits with my clients that only have half an hour sessions, we do 35 seconds of work and 15 seconds of rest in between the stations, and there's usually 7. So my practical training that I'm doing with my 30-minute clients actually falls right into these research parameters. So that's cool news for me. So it says that after doing this for 6 to 12 weeks, and going at least 2 times around the circuit, it can greatly increase your VO2 max by like up to 10%. So VO2 max is a measure of how well you are cardiovascularly fit, and a 10% increase is actually a huge number in research terms. So your heart can improve, and you can see fitness changes while you're just doing a 20 to 30 minute circuit training workout. So that was like, science is always behind the times, but that was so great for me to hear that, because I'm like, I do that for myself. I do that with my clients. So cool. Now I have research that backs up the methods, which is always a great thing. All right, the last thing I'm going to talk about today with you guys is knee arthritis. I went to a session that was actually by a chiropractor. His name is Dr. Evan Osar, and he's out of Chicago. And he did several sessions, but I only got to this one that was about the knee, corrective exercise strategies for the knee. And he said that like of all the patients he sees that have knee arthritis, everyone's like, of course, blaming that on getting old, right? Or you can't do anything about arthritis, or how do we, continue to move now that you have arthritis, and that sort of thing in the knee. So we were talking about, well, what causes it? Everyone just kind of thinks like it's genetics, or that you're just getting old and it's setting in. And that's one of the things that kind of gets me, is that I'm like, we don't just have these problems simply because we got old. Like age really doesn't have a whole lot to do with how your body feels, as long as you're keeping up with what's going on in your body as you age. If you do nothing to help your body along the way, then yeah, some things are probably going to start hurting, and like in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, like the pain shows up whenever it wants to. It's a different age for everybody. So, all right, so we're on knee arthritis. I see a couple of you logging on. So the cycle for knee arthritis is that you get like an injury. Say you sprain your ankle, like repeatedly, like when you're a kid, and you don't do anything about it because no one does, but your body has to compensate some ways. Like your brain's going to change, like it's patterning to the ankle. Your alignment may change, and that's where this cycle starts. You get injured, then you start compensating, and you don't do anything to change those compensations. So then you're starting to get out of alignment. So your ankle could be out of alignment, your hip could be out of alignment, and the joint that's in between the hip and the ankle is the knee, of course. So the knee is going to suffer because it's all one chain, one link of connected tissue. So so you have these compensatory patterns that you're maybe not aware of, and then the bony structures start changing. Yeah, like, so you change your alignment, you change your soft tissue, then you change your bony structures, and that's where the arthritis starts. So it becomes this cycle of like injury, compensate, soft tissue changes because you're compensating, and then the bony tissues start changing, and arthritis sets in. So it's like this cycle. So the biggest thing out of that session was that in order to be helping your knee, you have to work on alignment. And the knee going over the toes is by far the most important thing you can be doing to keep your knee healthy. So I just want to give you a few examples of what I see often with my own clients that I'm always correcting to make sure that the knee stays in proper alignment. So number one is squatting. So people will set up for a squat, and if you're not used to like really paying attention to alignment, you're gonna see like this kind of squat. All right, so my toes are going out, but my kneecaps are going straight ahead. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, if I put my hands there, look at that line. Knees are not going over the toes. So my knees are trying to go straight, but my toes are out, and that puts a huge amount of stress on the knee joint. The other thing I see is during lunges. So lunges, the setup tends to be the same. People will set up with their back toe turned out, and then we'll lunge. And the knee is trying to go straight down, right? But the toes are pointing out. So the alignment for the knee is just off. And these are, if you've been doing lunges or squats that way for years and years and years, then knee problems could be showing up because it's not in good alignment, and the knee just can't take any more of that repetitive stress. So again, just be aware of your alignment. The other thing that this chiropractor talked about was your femur. So that's this thigh bone comes down into your knee joint. I know my elbow isn't straight, but just think that this is your knee joint here. This is my femur, and this is my tibia. And they should sit on top of each other like that, right? But what happens when you're out of alignment is that your tibia rotates in, your femur rotates in like that, and your tibia rotates out. And your joint is just going bone on bone at that point, and that's the arthritis kicking in because it's out of alignment. So the most important thing you can do for knee health and helping to improve arthritis symptoms on your own, like without seeing a professional, of course, is watching your knee alignment. Knees over toes. And for so many of us, it's realigning the foot, turning the foot in, which is going to feel totally weird if you've been having your toes turned out for years, or if you walk and your feet are turned out, this is gonna be big for you. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here, but those were my 5 key points. If you're watching this on replay, feel free to leave a comment and let me know if you have any questions about this stuff. And I hope you guys have a great day. I will talk to you soon. Bye.